Hello, my beautiful people. I hope all is well. I haven't made a YouTube video in a while. I tried making this video like 3 or 4 times, but we're gonna try again. So today's video is gonna be about communication. I started this series on mental health, and I made a video, if you guys want to check it out, on how to heal your anxious attachment style, and it'll just be in my videos below. Today we're just going to go over, how to communicate effectively. It took me a while to really get this down. I'm just speaking from personal experience. So before I even go to even talk to the person, I try to take in account of how they are as an individual, and with, analyzing how they are towards me or just as a whole. That's how I kind of learn to how to navigate communicating with them if I'm upset or if I need to talk about something. To talk about the situation, you need to make sure you're not nervous and make sure you need to think more logically and not react off of emotion. Whenever I want to talk to someone, I say, hey, can we have a conversation about what happened the other day? I really want to communicate with you because I care and I have love for the relationship that we have. And if they say no, just accept it as it is. Then just communicate, okay, well, is there another time that we can talk about it? And if, then they say yes, then, you obviously put time aside to be able to talk about what is going on. So when I try to communicate with the person, I first identify what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling that way, and what assumption I'm making off the situation on their intentions. And I ask them, is my assumption on the situation true or not? And if they say no, that's not my intention at all, then they'll tell you the intention behind of what they were trying to do. I think it is very important to let your ego down and be vulnerable as best as you can. And I know it can be scary. I do feel like a lot of people are afraid to even just be vulnerable in general, and they were taught that it is a weakness. But in reality, it is a superpower because you're able to feel deeply. You're able to identify how you're feeling. And a lot of people just numb everything out and they take it out in a lot of unhealthy ways. And that's, when you see people react out of anger, that's when you see people, do the most outlandish things to hurt someone just because they're hurting themselves. Like the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. And I feel like when you try to communicate off ego, that's when you try to have the one up on someone, when you try to win a conversation and it starts arguments. So when you drop that wall and just say, hey, I'm feeling this way, there's nothing that anyone can really do and to tell you how to feel, because that's just what you feel at the end of the day. And if someone tries to tell you, oh, you're just being dramatic or you're just sensitive, that just full blown shows you that they don't care about how you're feeling. And that's not okay either. And I think that's when you need to identify if you should even be in that dynamic with them, or keep a distance. When you also have a disagreement or you want to talk to a person, you also have to keep your volume at a low, because when you raise your voice, then subconsciously they raise their voice too, and then all of a sudden it becomes this whole battlefield and you guys forget what you're talking about and you guys are just battling to hear over each other. And that leads to my next point by saying you need to actually listen and comprehend what the other person is saying instead of hearing just to argue something back. What I mean by listening, like actually like putting yourself in that person's shoes while you are listening to what they're saying, comprehend it, and then think from a third person perspective. And once you do that, it'll make you even understand the problem or the situation better as well. A lot of people don't know how to admit when you're wrong. Taking accountability is I would say the biggest thing that a lot of people tend to miss. And honestly, sometimes it's that easy as just, giving space and just apologizing and actually truly mean it if you care about the person. I'll give you an example. I'm walking downstairs and I drop a block on my friend's foot, and my friend's my friend reacts and gets really mad and irritated, and maybe it triggered something within them and they get upset, and then they say, hey, when you dropped the block on the foot, it made me feel hurt, and I'm feeling this way because I feel like sometimes you don't really watch where you're going and it can get really annoying, and the assumption that I'm making is that at this point I feel like you do it on purpose. And the other person can be like, honestly, I'm just very clumsy, it's not like that, I promise you, I didn't mean to hurt you, but I will watch out, I'll be more aware and self-aware next time to my surroundings, and I will work on it. And my intention was to never drop the block on your foot. I just tripped over the stairs and I fell. Perfect example. Having a longer conversation, make sure you, if to show that you care and to show that you are understanding what they're saying, repeat what they're saying. And sometimes you'll just tend to agree to disagree. An example of something that I had to deal with in the past. So there was a little disagreement because I invited a group of people to my housewarming party that I had back in last year in April. And the person that I wasn't really cool with at the time was in that group, and he ended up coming, and this person happens to be, my ex-relationship, if we can call him Billy. Billy shows up at my house, and I was still in contact with his mom at the time, so I was like, okay, whatever, like, I'll just let you, I'll let you stay because I've loved you for your mom, and I'm doing it out of her, So I let him come inside, and everything was still kind of rocky. And he did something that was really disrespectful, and I didn't appreciate it at all. And he didn't bother to, one, put himself in my shoes. He didn't bother to even apologize when I tried to talk to him about what I was feeling. And I feel like, some people can be just really stubborn and stuck in their ways and not really care about how other people feel and how it might hurt them. So in regards to that situation, you can try to communicate as much as you want, but if the other person isn't learning and trying to overcome certain obstacles with you, learning how to communicate in a healthy way, then it's really hard to even be cool with that person. And sometimes that's when you just need to let go, especially if you've tried to talk to them multiple times on what they need to work on, not just because it's for you, but it's because it's for them, because you have love for them as well, and you don't want to see them go through the same loophole and same circle over and over and over again. But yeah, that's just a little situation that I've been through, but even though there's so many other ones. And at the end of the conversation, when you try to, talk to the person, I would say just, reassure them that you love them, reassure them that you have care for the situation and that you didn't mean to hurt them, or vice versa. Ask, hey, I'm gonna leave open space. Is there anything that you need to talk about? Anything else? And if they say no, then you just, basically also just say, okay, how do you feel about this conversation? Now that we've, resolved a few things. And if they said good, then obviously, you did your part and they did theirs. If there's still some things that are very unsettling and they just don't express that, I would just probably maybe check in with them in a few days, maybe to see if they have built the courage to, talk about it openly. But obviously at the end of the day, you can't force someone to talk about something if they, don't want to. I feel like as long as you're leading with a good heart and you have pure intentions and you're leading with love in any conversation, I feel like that is the most wholesome, honest, pure thing you can do. And when you learn how to communicate, it is one of the best tools to solve anything in general. Like, I cannot even tell you, I used to be so bad at communicating. Back when I was 18, 19, 20, 21-ish, I would literally internalize everything, and for some reason, I couldn't build the courage to even say what I was feeling. And because I feel like I was always telling myself, okay, what you're feeling is wrong, or what you're feeling, you're just being dramatic. And then when I told myself, I would like keep it inside, and I would really act really passive aggressive towards the other person. And not only that, but I would start to build resentment and hate. And it's always really unhealthy to build resentment and hate in your heart. And I don't want to get religious or anything, but someone once told me, if there's ever a time when you're building resentment or hate towards someone, just just pray not only for yourself, but pray for the person you're building that resentment and hate towards. And soon enough, God will take that hate and resentment away, and you'll just feel so much lighter, so much better. Like there's, you know, something to actually look forward to that help you see that light at the end of the tunnel when you didn't see it before. When you're trying to communicate about a big issue and it's really affecting you guys both, you can also just take a break. Just have silence for a few minutes. It's okay to have silence. Just be present. If you want to walk away and say, hey, this conversation is getting too much for me, can we continue the conversation later? Another person says yes, that is a very healthy way to, you know, just try to bring the chaos down. Nowadays, a lot of people are addicted to chaos because it can stem from, you know, what they've learned through their childhood. You know, let's say if they had an absent mom or they've had an absent dad or something tragic has, you know, happened to them as a whole, they've grown accustomed to it and they bring that into their adult life and it's what's comfortable. So sometimes when people don't communicate and they're just stuck in this chaotic environment, they stuck in something really unhealthy, it's because it's comfortable, not because it's the right thing to stay in. You know, I was in therapy, and that's what my therapist told me. He's like, honestly, Drew, you're just used to the chaos, and when there's something healthy coming along the way, or when everything feels too still, you go crazy, you get bored, and make something out of nothing. And when he said that to me, it really opened my eyes, because I was like, dang, like that's crazy. Like that's such a subconscious thing that was embedded inside of me, and a lot of people have that inside of them as well. I had hypnotherapy once, and I realized I had so much chaos growing up, like so freaking much, and I took it onto my adult life, and it's what I used to. I find that so crazy to me. Don't stay in something because you are comfortable, because you are setting yourself for failure, because the future is so bright. The future has so many plans for you. The future is way much better and has so many things for you. And I can't even stress that enough. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you watched it to the end, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll be posting either on Wednesdays or Sundays, maybe even both. Who knows? Let's see how the engagement goes. But yeah, I really do want to continue this whole mental health series. So if you want to comment down below what you want me to express and what you want me to talk about on the YouTube video in order to grow as a person and just elevate as a whole, let me know. All right. Bye guys. Thank you.